Jai Hind children, let's start our today's biology class. Before that, let's recap the previous class topics. So what we studied in the last class, that about tissues, isn't it? The tissues are mainly divided into plant tissues and animal tissues. Then what are the differences between this plant tissue and animal tissues? After that we studied about the plant tissues are mainly divided into two. They are the meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Then in meristematic tissues we studied about different types of meristems. That is apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Then permanent tissues, in that we studied about simple permanent tissues. Which are the simple permanent tissues? Examples for that, they are the parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So we studied up to that. Then let's move on to complex permanent tissues. Okay, let's start complex permanent tissues. Complex permanent tissues composed of more than one type of cells. That is the peculiar feature of complex permanent tissues. That is, it is made up of more than one type of cells. That cells are different. More than one type of cells. But we studied that parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. But they are made up of what? A similar type of cells. If suppose parenchyma is there, all the cells are same. Isn't it? Collenchymatous cells, all the cells are similar. But here, this tissue consists of different cells and that cells are different types also. So, it is made up of more than one type of cells. Then, all these different types of cells coordinate to perform a common function. They coordinate to perform a common function. That means, even though they are different, but they are coordinated to perform a common function. Then these are particularly found where? In vascular bundles. So they are also known as vascular tissues, particularly found in vascular bundles. Then which is tissues are known as vascular bundles? That is xylem and phloem. So these are mainly, these complex permanent tissues are found in xylem and phloem. So these are also known as vascular tissues. Then examples are xylem and phloem. These xylem and phloem are conducting tissues, that means used for conduction of water and minerals and food materials. So they are conducting tissues and form as water or together known as vascular bundles. And these xylem and phloem are the distinct feature of the plants that is especially present in the terrestrial area. Next is about xylem tissues. So xylem tissues are the main complex permanent tissues and it's a part of the vascular bundle also. And what is the main function of the xylem tissue? The function of xylem tissue is the transportation of water and minerals. Transportation of water and minerals. You know that plants absorb water and minerals from where? From the soil through their roots, and these water and minerals are conducted towards the top of the plant. That means only upward conduction. For that upward conduction of water and minerals, which tissue is helping? That is xylem tissues. So xylem tissue is a complex permanent tissue and it is a part of the vascular bundle. And what is its function? The upward conduction of water and minerals, that is transportation of water and minerals. So this one is the main point. Water and minerals are conducted through this xylem tissue. So water is conducting only towards the top of the plant. So upward conduction, that is unidirectional way, isn't it? From the bottom region to the top region. So unidirectional way water and minerals are conducting. Okay. Then this xylem tissue consists of 4 elements. Which are the 4 elements? 4 elements of xylem tissue. The first one is tracheids. Second one, vessels. Then third one is xylem parenchyma. and fourth one is xylem fibers. So the first element of xylem tissue, that is trachea. This trachea consists of elongated tubular cells with the tapering ends, and these cells are dead cells. When it mature, these cells are dead cells, and these mature dead cell consists of numerous or many apertures in their cells, and they are called pits. Many pits are also present. Pits means what? Holes, small holes. So many aperture or pits are also present in their cells. So these are the characters of tracheids. Then second one is about vessels. Second element is vessels. So vessels are also showing the same characters. They are long tubular structures. Long tubular structures. But much more width is there, not tapering ends. Then these are also dead cells. These are also dead cells and consists of many pits. So tracheids and vessels. And what is the function of these tracheids and vessels? These two, tracheids and vessels, they conduct water and minerals vertically. So the function is these two, function of these tracheids and vessel, that is the conduction of water and minerals vertically. Conduction of water and minerals vertically, that means upward. Okay, that is the function of tracheids and vessels. Next, the third element is xylem parenchyma. So this xylem parenchyma cells are the only living cells present in the xylem tissue. These are living cells, and these cells are elongated. You know that you can see that in your textbook also. The diagram is there. The cells with the cytoplasm, and there is a nucleus, cytoplasm, etc. are there. These are the xylem parenchyma, and the xylem parenchyma are living cells. And what is the function of this xylem parenchyma? The function is to store food material, especially which one? Plants store food in the form of starch. So that starch is stored where? In this xylem parenchyma. Okay, so that's about xylem parenchyma. And the last element is xylem fiber. These xylem fibers are, here the cells are long, narrow, then with pointed ends, and their wall is made up of a material called lignin. So you can see that lignified walls were in the xylem fiber. So the main points are what? Xylem fibers are long, narrow, and with the pointed ends, and its wall is made up of a material called lignin. So their wall is lignified wall, and these cells are also dead cells. And what is the function? These are also dead cells. So here the function is to provide mechanical strength. Mechanical strength or support. Okay, so that's about the xylem elements. So which are the xylem elements? Tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Of these tracheids and vessels are conducting water and minerals, and this xylem fibers are what is the function? They provide mechanical strength, or they supportive in function. And what is the function of xylem parenchyma? Storage of food material. Okay, next is about the phloem tissue. So phloem tissue also a complex permanent tissue. So xylem also a complex permanent tissue. Here phloem is also a complex permanent tissue. And it is also a part of vascular bundle. And what is the function of this phloem tissue? The function of phloem tissue is the conduction of food material. Conduction of food. Where this food is prepared in plants, that is preparing in their leaves. From the leaves to other parts of the plant body, that food materials are conducting through this phloem tissue. So conduction of food material is the function of phloem tissue. So once again, phloem tissues are complex permanent tissue, and these are a part of what? Vascular bundle. And what is the function of phloem tissue? Conduction of food materials from one part of the plant body to the other region. That means both in upward conduction and downward conduction. Food materials are transporting from the leaves to the roots, or from roots to sides, or anyway. So there is upward conduction and downward conduction is there. Okay. Then here also phloem tissue consists of 4 elements. Which are the 4 elements of phloem tissue? The first one is sieve tubes. Sieve tubes or sieve cells. Then second one is companion cells. Companion cells. Then third one is phloem parenchyma. And the fourth one is phloem fiber. Phloem fiber. So these are the 4 elements of phloem tissue. Which are the 4 elements of xylem tissue? There is tracheids, vessels, then xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. But here it is sieve tube cells, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Next is about the elements of phloem tissue. So the first one is sieve tubes. Sieve tubes, or we can say sieve cells. So these sieve cells are elongated, long cells, but in between the tube cells you can see that there is a plate-like structure consists of numerous pores. Numerous pores. In this plate-like structure we can see that numerous pores, and this region is called sieve plate. So sieve plate consists of numerous pores. That means in between, these are the sieve cells. In between two sieve cells, many perforated sieve plates we can see. In this sieve plate, numerous sieves are there, or pores are there for filtering the food material. So what is the function there? Filter the food material. Then adjacent to this sieve tubes, we can see that another elongated, long, narrow cell. Another elongated, long, narrow cells with nucleus. And these cells are called companion cells. So the second one is companion cells. Companion cells. So always we can see where adjacent to this sieve tubes, that is side by side, we can see these companion cells, and these companion cells are also elongated with the pointed ends, and there is a nucleus also present. These companion cells, the wall is very thin, and these are living cells. So once again, sieve tubes or sieve cells are what? Elongated cells. In between two cells, sieve plates are present. In sieve plates, we can see many sieves or pores for filtering the food material. And adjacent to this sieve tubes, many companion cells are also present. These companion cells are also long with the tapering ends with nucleus. Then these cells, the wall is very thin. And what is the function of these companion cells? The companion cells help the sieve tube, for the conduction of food material, for the conduction of food. That is the function of what? Companion cells. So you can see here as what? Here there is no nucleus in this sieve tube. There is no nucleus, but all other components are there. But in companion cells only nucleus present. So this companion cell is controlling the sieve tube also. So these are present always side by side. This companion cells and sieve tubes are present side by side. And here there is no nucleus, but here it is there is nucleus. Anyhow, both these cells are living cells. Companion cells and sieve tubes are living cells. Okay. Then the third one is what? Phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. So phloem parenchyma, you can see that like this elongated cells and with a vacuole. Then here we can see that a nucleus, then cytoplasm. These are what of phloem parenchyma. In xylem parenchyma, we studied its function as what? Xylem parenchyma for storage of food. Here also the xylem parenchyma cells, what is the function? Storage of food material. Function is storage of food and also storage of food and also the conduction of food. Conduction of food, storage of food and also conduction of food material. So that is the function of phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma cells are also elongated cells. They are also living cells and there is a presence of what? A vacuole is there. Then a nucleus is there, cytoplasm is there. These are phloem parenchyma. What is the function of phloem parenchyma? Storage and also conduction of food material. And the last element of this phloem tissue is what? That is phloem fiber. Phloem fibers are elongated cells. These are elongated cells. You can see that here and there the small openings are there. These fibers, phloem fibers are elongated and they provide mechanical strength. That is, these phloem fibers are elongated with a thick wall. Wall is made up of a material called lignin and its function is provide what? Mechanical strength. Mechanical strength, and these cells are dead cells. So, dead cells. So, all other elements are, that is sieve tube, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, all are living cells. Only one is dead. Which one? Phloem fiber is a dead cell. Understand? So, once again, these are the companion cells. Sorry, these are sieve tubes. Sieve tube or sieve cells. Here we can see that sieve plate. Sieve plate, and these are the companion cells. Companion cells, and this one is the phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma, and these are phloem fibers. Okay, that's about the elements of phloem tissue. Then what is the differences between this xylem and phloem tissue? So, main differences are, the first one is xylem tissue conducts water and minerals. The main function of what are the xylem tissue? Mainly for what purpose? For conducting water and minerals. Then phloem tissues conducts what? Food materials. That is the first difference. Then second difference is, here the conduction is unidirectional. Conduction is unidirectional. But here it is bidirectional. Then third one is the conducting channel is tracheids and vessels. That is, water and minerals are conducted through tracheids and vessels. Even though other two elements are also present, but the conduction occurs through what? Tracheids and vessels. But here the mainly food materials are conducting through the sieve tubes. Then another difference is the components of xylem tissues are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers, whereas in phloem the elements are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. The next is here in xylem of these four elements, three elements are dead. That means the cells are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is a living cell. Just opposite there, phloem tissue consists of these four elements. Of these four elements, three elements are living and only phloem fibers are dead. Understand? So these are the differences between xylem tissue and phloem tissues. Now we had completed meristematic tissues and complex permanent tissues, isn't it? So complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. So we studied their structure and their functions also. Now another group of tissue present in plants, that is called protective tissues. So protective tissues are present where? These are present the outer peripheral regions of the plant, that is the outer regions of the root, stem, leaves, flowers, etc. Then what is its function? Its function is mainly protection. The name itself it is indicating protective tissue. So that the function is protecting what? Protecting the underlying tissues. Underlying tissues. That means the tissues which are present below the epidermal cells. So below the protective tissues, so many other tissues are also present. So protect that tissues. That is the function of the protective tissue. So once again, these are present the outer peripheral regions of roots, stem, leaves, flowers, etc. And what is the function? They are protective in function, that is they are protecting the underlying tissues. And the important protective tissues are, one is epidermis, and another one is cork. These are some important protective tissues. So first one is epidermis. What is this epidermis? This epidermis, it forms as a single layer of cells, and these cells are flat. Epidermal cells, you can see that the outer layer of the plant body, like that of our skin, the plant body, the outer layer of the plant body, the whole body is covered with this epidermis. These epidermal cells are elongated flat cells with the nucleus is present there, but here you can see that the outer wall and the inner wall is highly thickened. The outer wall and not inner wall, the side walls are highly thickened. Here also the outer wall is highly thickened and this side wall is also highly thickened. Here also we can see that outer wall is highly thickened, then side wall also highly thickened, like that. These are cells, but the inner wall is very thin. That is epidermis, and it form a continuous single layer, isn't it? Without any intercellular space. You can see that in between the cells there is no intercellular space. Why? Because they, what is the function? Protective in function, so that these cells form as a single layer without intercellular space. Understand? Next is how these epidermis protect the aerial parts of the plant. So aerial parts of the plant means those parts which are present above the soil, that is stem, then leaves, etc. So these epidermis which are present on these aerial parts of the plant, we can see that as a shiny waxy coating on the surface of the aerial parts. Shiny waxy coating. And this shiny waxy coating is a water resistant layer also. Water resistant layer. So this aerial parts of the plant body is covered with a thin waxy coating, and that shiny waxy coating which are water resistant layer. And what is the function then? Then function is it protect. Protection is the main function. Then it protect the plants from water loss, prevent water loss, then from mechanical injuries, and also the inversion of parasitic fungi. Inversion of parasitic fungi. Okay, that is the function of this epidermis, which is present on the aerial parts of the plant. So once again, aerial parts of the plant, that means the parts which is present above the soil, that aerial parts of the plant is covered with a shiny waxy coating, and which is a water resistant layer also, and that protect the plants from water loss because it's a water resistant layer. So prevent from water loss, then from mechanical injuries, and also the inversion of parasitic fungi. Epidermis of roots, that is the next point. The epidermis of roots contain, suppose this one is the epidermis, epidermal cells. Some of the epidermal cells, they possess hair-like projections, like this. Like this, you can see that hair-like projections from the epidermal cells. Then what is the use of these hair-like projections? And these are called root hairs. So root hair. What is the use of this root hair? That greatly increase the absorptive surface area for getting more and more water and minerals from the soil. So for that, here the epidermal cells are using where? The roots. So the surface of the roots also possess epidermal cells. That epidermal cells, some of the epidermal cells possess certain hair-like structures. They are called root hair for increasing the surface area for absorption of water and minerals. The next is in desert plants. In desert plants, how these epidermis play an important role. In desert plants, it form as a thick waxy coating is present on this epidermal layer, and that waxy coating is the material called cutin. What is cutin? Cutin is a chemical substance which is water resistant also, waterproof quality. It has a waterproof quality also. That means it prevents the water loss. So you know that desert plants, they are exposing all the time heavy sunlight, isn't it? Bright sunlight, so that this cutin protect it from the heavy water loss. So that there is a thick waxy coating we can see on the surface of this epidermal layer, and that thick waxy coating is made up of which material? Cutin. So what is the quality of that cutin substance? It is a waterproof substance, isn't it? Then that's about in desert plants. Then what about in leaves? Then in desert plants, what is its function? To protect the plant from heavy water loss. The next is about the leaves. In leaves, this epidermis layer of cell is not a continuous layer. We first told us what epidermal layers are single-celled continuous layer. There is no intercellular space because of protective function, so that there is no intercellular space. But in case of leaves, it is not continuous layer. In leaves, we can see that epidermal cells, in some regions we can see that there is a bean-shaped cell. Like this, small openings are present. In this epidermal cells. And that is here and there many pores are present on the epidermal cells. And these pores are called what? These pores are called stomata. Stomata. And you know that the structure of stomata. The stomata consists of but here you can see that these are the epidermal cells. These are epidermal cells, and in some regions we can see that there is a bean-shaped or kidney-shaped stomata is present like this. Like this you can see that bean-shaped or kidney-shaped stomata are present. These are called, this stomatal opening is protected by rod cells. Rod cells, and here you can, this opening is the stomatal pore. Stomatal pore, and these are epidermal cells. Epidermal cells. That is the structure of what this stomata. Stomata consists of two kidney-shaped rod cells. Then there is a stomatal opening is there, and surrounding this numerous epidermal cells are also present. Then what is the function of this stomata? The function of stomata, there are two functions are there. One is exchange of gases. Exchange of gases. Which gases they are exchanging? Through the stomata, carbon dioxide, they are taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for photosynthesis, and after photosynthesis they are releasing oxygen through the same stomata into the atmosphere. So taking carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen, that is the exchange of gases. And another function is it will also help in the process of transpiration. Then what is transpiration? It is the process of loss of water from the plant body in the form of water vapor through the stomata is called transpiration. So once again, what is transpiration? The process of loss of water in the form of water vapor from the plant body through the stomata. So these are about epidermis. So epidermis, which is present on the aerial parts of the plant body, how it is helping there. Then the epidermis, which is present on the root, that is in the form of root hairs. Then epidermis, which is present on the desert plants, and the epidermis, which is present on these leaves, how they are helping here. So that's about epidermis. Then another important protective tissue is the cork. So cork, how it is formed? You know that as the plant grow older, its tissue become, that means most of the tissue that undergoes certain changes, especially the protective tissue undergoes changes. What is it? When the plant become older, the protective tissues undergo certain changes. Then because of that changes, what will happen? So a strip of meristem, a strip of secondary meristem, a strip of secondary meristem that is located in the cortex region, located in the cortex region form layers of cells that constitute cork cell or cork tissue. So what is that? Because when the plant become older, this epidermis or the protective tissues undergo certain changes. Because of that change, a strip of secondary meristem that is located in the cortex region undergo certain changes and form as layers of cells. That layers of cells that constitute a cork. You know that this one is the epidermis, and below the epidermis there is a region. That region is known as what? This region is known as the cortex region. Cortex region, and below that you can see that xylem and phloem like that you can see, and this undergoes certain changes and form as different layers of cells. This undergoes changes and different layers of cells. And these layers of cells, because of the force of these layers formed behind the epidermis, this epidermis rupture, that will rupture. Like this epidermis will form. So ruptured epidermis with the different layers of cells, these constitute as what? Cork. Okay. Then what is this secondary meristem? The secondary meristem, that means, you know that about the primary meristems that we studied, as the primary meristems are present on the apex of the root, stem, etc. and also on the leaves. This primary meristem undergoes division. When this primary meristem, that means that when the plant body stops the primary growth, then the secondary meristem will form. That means when the secondary meristem that is formed along the lateral side, this one is the lateral side. The lateral side you can see that secondary meristem that grow on the sides of the stem and root. So because of that secondary meristem, that stem become wood. Understand? So that is the secondary meristem that undergo division, that is after the primary growth. After the primary growth, there is secondary growth. For that, who is helping? That is secondary meristem. Then what is this cortex region? So cortex region is the where it is present. That is, you know that this one is the epidermis. Then after the epidermis, you can see that parenchyma, collenchyma, like that, different layers of cells are there. Parenchyma, collenchyma, different layers of cells. Then here you can see that xylem cells, xylem and phloem. Here it is xylem, then phloem region. Here it is then like this xylem. This xylem and phloem constitute what? This constitute vascular bundle. So in between the vascular bundle, that is above the vascular bundle and below the epidermis region, here you can see that a layer of cells. This layer of cells or this region is known as the cortex region. This region is known as the cortex region. Okay, so here it is the epidermis. So epidermis, below the epidermis different layers of cells are there. Then here you can see that xylem and phloem. So above this xylem and phloem, together we can say as vascular bundles. So above the vascular bundle and below the epidermis, there is a region. That region is called the cortex. These cells, cortex region, that cells undergo divisions and form as layers of cells that finally form as cork. Then what is the structure of this cork? Next is about the cork. The structure of cork. Here the cells are dead cells and these are compactly arranged. Compactly arranged without intercellular space. Without intercellular space. So here the cells are dead cells and the cells are compactly arranged without intercellular space. And another important feature is these dead cells are deposited with another material called suberin. Because here the cells, its wall is highly thickened because of the deposition of a material called suberin, which is impervious to gases and water. Impervious to gases and water. That means it does not allow the movement of what? Gas or that is carbon dioxide or oxygen or water molecule. So once again, the structure of cork, the cells are dead cells and they are compactly arranged, so that we draw like this, compactly arranged cells. Isn't it? There is no intercellular space in between. Here these are the cells, there is no intercellular space, compactly arranged, and here the walls are deposited with a material called suberin. What is the nature of this suberin? These are impervious to gases and water. So that's about the protective tissues. Okay, let's recap today's topics. The complex permanent tissues, we studied about complex permanent tissue, of that about xylem and phloem. Then about the protective tissues. Then two important protective tissues are epidermis and cork. All these tissues, their structure, their function, etc. So read the text very well, because all the points are there in the textbook. So read the text thoroughly and study well. Then do the homeworks properly and send it on right time. Okay. Jai Hind.